Welcome back to Frack Studios. Today I'm going to show you how to make space walls. And here's the example of the one that I built earlier today. And I'm going to show you how I did that using just foam core and popsicle sticks and some recycled cardboard. Very simple construct and lots of fun. So stay tuned. Hey there, welcome back again. It's me, Jerry, with another daily video log that I wanted to share with you guys. A little project that I'm working on. Right now I'm building some space walls for a diorama or for a stop motion film set. Now there's a lot of different ways of going about doing this. There's some people who sell them online, and that's a great way of going about get some. But if you're like me and you are trying to save a little bit of money, or you don't have the money to go out there and get on eBay and purchase some of those products, and they're great products if you can afford them, but if you're one of those parents, or maybe you're just, you know, a hobbyist or enthusiast who loves Star Wars, who just wants to create a nice simple way of making a nice display stand for your Star Wars figures or something, I'm going to show you a quick way of going about doing that. And that's just going to include some simple things. Popsicle stick, you know, preferably clean ones. You can get these at Walmart for maybe about, I want to say they're like $2 and you get 75 of them. You get a lot of them. You can also get them for free if you you know, have kids in your art class, or if you teach at a school, you might be able to get some kids to bring them in, and you can use them there. There's a couple of things you can do with this. Number one, you can either make a stencil with this, or you can actually physically use the popsicle sticks in the actual display case. One of the things about these that are great is that they have this nice shape to them. They have that rounded top edge, and when you look at Star Wars, they have the space walls like that on Rogue One and the Death Star scene. When they're running through the hallways of the Death Star, you see these type of shapes. And let me show you a different one here. This is one that I've already painted. I painted this white. And then the next step is to simply just get yourself some foam core. You can find a piece of foam core for usually somewhere around about anywhere from $3 to $1. If you go to the Dollar General, you can get smaller ones for about, you know, 99 cents. You can go to Michael's, and you know, sometimes you could find foam core for maybe $1 a piece. It just depends on where you go. If you shop around, you can get some good deals. Another great thing that you can do is to go online and maybe just find a coupon of some sort. I go to Michael's all the time, and so I always use the Michael's coupons. And I have to admit, I don't think I ever go to Michael's and I never expect to pay full price when I go. I never pay full price, actually. So always find yourself some good foam core if you can, or some kind of like stiff board. It could be an old piece of wood. It could be a, you know, old pizza box, depending on how strong it is. Point that I want to make though, you want something that's, you know, relatively strong. So I've got that, and then what I did, I cut out a piece. I went ahead, made it Battleship Gray, and that's just an easy fix. All you had to do is just mix black and white together, you get gray. If I was doing a painting, I'd mix something totally different other than just black and white, but for the purpose of this, black and white works fine for mixing. And so I went ahead, I set this up, I put a couple of layers down, because I want to try to make it thick. You don't want to see paint strokes. You want to avoid that at all possible cases. So I went ahead and did that. And then what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and move the camera here so you guys can get a better look. So give me a second. And so here I am back in now with a better camera angle. Here is my surface. I've got a piece of gray. Depending on what size you want to make this, I always recommend that you keep a ruler nearby just so you can kind of get an idea on how, you know, big you want this to be. Mine is kind of a rectangular shape. I think I'm going to have mine going like so, where it's taller than it is wider, simply because I want this to work out for my 6-inch figures. And so as long as you know what size your figures are going to be and what size you want them to be, that's the key thing. Let me go ahead and get out my popsicle sticks that I already have. And I've got one popsicle stick here that I left unpainted. It's a little messed up looking, so I decided, well, maybe I'll just use it as a measuring stick as opposed to actually using it. What I'm going to do is just set these up to the side, just keep them nearby. Okay, put those over there. Put my surface down. And then I'm just going to go ahead, take the back of this and cover it up with some glue from a hot glue gun. And actually, before I do that, let me just plan out where I want these to go. I want them to go just, you know, maybe up and down here in the middle. One thing to keep in mind is that you want to try to keep this as straight as possible. So the best way to do that is to use a straight edge. If you have multiple straight edges, I'm going to go ahead and break out a piece of wood that I have. Actually, let me use this one. So I'm going to line this up along the edge of my board, so it's nice and straight. Then, using the glue gun, I'm just going to put a nice small slither right there. And I'm going to put this right up against that board. Leave a little bit of a gap between the bottom and up there. Didn't go the way I wanted it to. The other thing that you want to try to make sure of is that your surface is dry. If it's not dry, the paint will peel and it will not actually stick. It will just stick to the paint, but not to what you want it to. So let me go ahead and put another one right up there at the top. I'm going to use, you know, my eye just to create kind of like a little gap there between them. And there we go. And so now I've got two laid down. The one thing I noticed is that they kind of interchange the shapes of the little circular light thingies. I don't know what you want to call them, but the space walls. These things are lined up kind of like in a brick pattern. One goes halfway up the other side. So I'm going to put a popsicle stick, the one that's not painted, right here, and that's going to be my spacer. And then I'm going to just go ahead and lay this down right inside of there. Alright, and then the next part, real simple. I'm just going to use a pair of scissors, and I'm just going to try to like eyeball this once again. Just want to take a good look at the measurements between them. I'm going to look at this, say about halfway. And I'm going to cut this popsicle stick in half. And if you get a good pair of scissors, a good sharp pair, popsicle sticks are not that difficult to cut, so you'll be just fine just doing that. Once again, just want to eyeball and make sure I got that right. And there we go. Got that one on, and now last one to do. And there we go. Now this one's going over the edge a little bit. That's fine. I can always come back and trim that up a little bit later on. And now on to the next part. I'm just going to go ahead. Got the glue down there. Use my spacer again. And trying to keep that nice and even. There we go. And the next one. And so this is a relatively fun project to do, especially if you have like kids and you want to do something with them over the weekend. And then eventually what happens is that you get something that looks like this. So there you go. There's a space wall. Now they don't have these lights going all the way up and down. You can kind of create like a little seam right here using some wiring, using any kind of texturing, use some balsa wood, maybe some cardboard shapes to put in here to create panels. And so